Ah, yes. A classic day for a classic Call of Duty gameplay. Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jev. We finally made it into May, which means we're just getting closer and closer to Modern Warfare 2 coming out. As you can see down there in the bottom right, they can't bother to fix the instability issues on this game. I get it, it's a few years old. Surely every single dev just abandons their games after a couple years. I'm not saying they need to do constant balance changes on this game or anything, but at least make it kind of stable for people that are having issues. I'm pretty sure this shit is still scuffed as fuck, along with the scuffed issues over on Warzone anyway. Yo, by the way, I want to thank the new subscribers that have shown up here recently. We're getting close to 5 million subscribers. That is a disgusting number. And also, thank you for leaving a like on this video. 76ers are without Embiid for games 1 and 2 against Miami. Yeah, the Sixers aren't gonna win that. So we actually have some more rumors going around about Modern Warfare 2 that I didn't really mention or anything like that once the teaser dropped, because once the teaser dropped, everybody was just like speculating and saying all this other shit, and there were rumors about it and stuff like that before the teaser ended up dropping and stuff, but we don't really know. Obviously, all of that kind of stuff is subject to change. The people that are commonly putting out leaks, and some other people that don't usually put out leaks, so I'm not really sure what is and isn't real. But you have people like Hope and Ralph and other people like that. Those are the guys that are usually very, very credible, and anytime that they have something wrong, like they virtually have no real reason to lie, considering, you know, it's pretty much like an 80% plus accuracy, just because even the devs themselves aren't even 80% sure of all of their own decisions, so it makes complete sense. I'm still top 3,300 on the planet, with over 226,000 kills, and half of the people that are up here are all cheating. Got a bunch of people with like mods and lobbies and other shit in their name. By the way, I have a 1.5 KD on here because my skill base was absolutely disgusting, and all I did was just face mash into a hardcore shipment playlist. Did not give a shit how many times I died as long as I dropped as many kills as possible. Not trying to get nukes or streaks or none of that shit. Just progress. I got over like 180 or 160,000 total kills just doing the obsidian shit. Kill streaks do nothing but waste your fucking time. Apparently an audio overhaul is also coming out for Warzone's next season or some shit like that. I don't really know what an audio overhaul necessarily entails. I really hope that it ends up resolving more issues than creating more issues, but you know, that usually doesn't always work out, and there has to be a reason why it took them this long. But to be honest, I really don't think the audio is that bad in the game. Like, I can almost always tell where somebody is in terms of audio. And also, all I'm saying is, all of these games would be 10 times better if people just had the option to use Ninja. The only reason dead silence feels so powerful is because you're used to being able to hear the footsteps. If everybody were conditioned to not sit there and just basically try to see with their third fucking eyeball, with their sonar hearing, dead silence wouldn't seem nearly as jarring when you die to it, because everybody would just have dead silence. You would just be used to it. Back on Modern Warfare 2, whenever you ran into somebody that was not using Ninja, you laughed at them. Like, you beat the shit out of them. You laughed at those people. If you played Search and Destroy and you were using, like, Commando and shit like that, obviously a lot of trick shotters did that or whatever, but a lot of trick shotters would also, like, noob tube and then swap their classes over and shit like that. But if you played Search and Destroy with no Ninja at all, you were laughed at. You were made fun of. You were considered like you just had no idea what the fuck you were doing, because audio is that powerful. And this is years ago, too, so the audio accuracy was loud, but it wasn't accurate at all directionally. Now, I mean, I could tell when somebody was behind or left or above or whatever, but obviously it's not some Dolby surround shit. So according to Hope, there's supposed to be some sort of theater slash photo mode that's gonna be in the game, and I mean, I guess that's not really as exciting for, you know, the usual player, because most people won't really use it. Although theater mode will definitely be more useful than photo mode for most people. Theater mode, I feel like, especially for most BR games, the amount of content and other things that you can make with a theater mode, it just, when you have something of this size with this kind of volume, for example, if you're playing Warzone and you broke somebody's arm above you up on a cliff, you're down at the bottom of the cliff, and you think, huh, I have a throwing knife, I'm just gonna toss this straight up in the air, and it comes down and you actually kill somebody, you would want to see like a cool kill or whatever, and it'd be even cooler on a giant ass BR map. It's not even the same as like hitting a cross map on like a multiplayer map. You have a good idea of where shit's gonna land. Most of the time, you're not practicing where, you know, you're gonna look up in the sky and you stand in this particular corner, you look at this pallet from this angle and then look up at this certain point and then toss it, and if somebody is standing at like a really popular spot would get hit by, no. That would be nearly impossible for a BR thing, considering people are not sitting in the exact same spot in all those situations. Theater mode would be insane. Now, obviously, they're just talking about Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer at the moment. I don't know about Warzone 2 having it. Hope only said just Modern Warfare 2, not Warzone 2, so still, a theater mode or a replay mode for a BR game would be insane. But one thing that's really nice sounding is that photo mode, especially for people like me, and honestly, for all content creation, that shit is gonna be massive. Not only is Modern Warfare 2 going to to be insanely marketable just in its name and its clean, sleek look, which it's apparently going even further and more extreme on, more so than even the original Modern Warfare. We're going ultra hard on the realism, so all of the thumbnails are gonna look insane. And then on top of the fact, people are gonna be able to have a photo mode and theater mode to be able to get any angle that they want of anything, and it's completely accessible to everyone. It is going to be a marketing fucking giant. And Infinity Ward slash Raven slash all the developers, they don't even need to do the advertising. We're going to make the better advertisements than them. We already do that. We already create things and designs and ideas that already receive more views and attention than they make, like as an entire community. So photo mode is going to affect a lot more than what people just think of, like, oh, well, I'm not gonna really use it, so it doesn't really need to be there. You will use it. You'll consume it. Everyone will actively be seeing the photo and theater mode benefit as soon as the game comes out or the feature exists or whatever. Hopefully it'll be there at launch and it's not completely scuffed in some way where, I don't know, when they previously had a theater mode, some of the games wouldn't save, or the games would be corrupted, or you wouldn't be able to fast forward past a certain spot or some shit like that. It definitely has its own issues, and it's a big undertaking to make a theater mode for sure. But if we're thinking about it being possible, it definitely seems more possible in, you know, Modern Warfare 2 as opposed to Warzone 2. What is that monstrosity he has in his hand? Also, another thing that people have been talking about, I don't know if it's confirmed. Obviously, none of it's actually confirmed until we see or hear about it or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. Some people more credible than others, some rumors sounding a bit more realistic than others. People are talking about a potential firing range coming to the game, which, I mean, would be cool if, like, maybe if they did some kind of like damage number kind of situation where instead of us as the community having to basically sit around for JGOD and True Game Data and all those other testing guys to sit there and actually get the base numbers for things. Just very annoying that they have all of this customization and stuff. And Cold War slash Vanguard does a great job of displaying the numbers and stuff like that. But also you have to worry about inaccuracies there and having display errors and stuff like that that you can't even fully trust even in that base form. So if you kind of have like more of a practical way to measure damage as opposed to just looking at a sheet that could potentially be incorrect. Like for example, over on Vanguard, you can put some sort of conversion kit on that says that it'll give you more damage, but then the actual chart itself doesn't give you more damage. But then in game, you can't tell if you are or are not dealing more damage. It would be a lot better if you just kind of did it in like a Borderlands type mode where whenever you shoot them and hit them, you'll see an actual damage number, a value actually pop up. And also maybe even just determine if it's a limb shot, an arm shot, a critical, a headshot, upper chest opposed to low chest and stuff like that. Just being able to actually measure the damage. Now there could be a reason why they wouldn't want players, you know, getting access to it, because then people could potentially sit in the firing range the entire time and just combo and test every single one of the attachments and potentially find really broken things a lot easier. Basically, if they gave the community an ability to actually test all of the weapons right there in a super efficient way, by the way, they could potentially like help them fix those issues faster, or at least locate them faster. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that they can actually fix them faster. Most of the time, they fix things whenever people figure them out and they become too big of an issue. Once people hear about something becoming powerful, once somebody uses it and dominates with it, and then it gets any kind of publicity and popularity, it gains that popularity through hearing about it through other people. Not just because it exists. If everybody starts to be able to recognize and test and start posting everywhere about like, oh, this thing is super strong, this thing is super strong, it's going to end up being a thing where every single time that Infinity Ward ends up posting a tweet or some shit like that, it's just gonna be filled with people, not that it isn't already, just filled with people saying, yo, fix this, nerf this is broken, this isn't working, this, that. More attachments, more access, more information, more feedback. Sounds like a good thing until they're insanely overwhelmed with it and they end up going into their shell like they usually do already at this point. But still, at the end of the day, I'm not a dev and I'm a player and I'm playing the game. You as a dev, that is your shit to figure out. I'm just letting you know as a player. So I think that that should be a thing in the firing range. They should add like damage values and shit like that, like on a practical dummy in front of you. Headshot, boom, number pops up with a multiplicative thing on the side of it and everything. It would be great if they did that. They clearly have a system already that's in place that is determining the value. Now just make it visible to the player as feedback. It'll make the game feel a lot more clear, a lot more concise, and a lot more accurate, and you get a lot less jarring situations that happen to you If you're aware that something does a fuck ton of damage when it hits you in the head, you're not going to do this thing of like, oh my god, what the fuck is this guy using? You can also more accurately draw the comparisons and TTKs between each other if you're able to just simply test it more often than just kind of feel it. We don't have to sit around as a community and guess if something is too powerful or not. So like a firing range, a theater mode. Basically, all we really need is just another clean Modern Warfare game that is that like high selling point for people. It's what it is. That's what people really like. I accept that. I remember back on Black Ops 1, there were people out there that were very, very good with the theater mode. Like, they would be able to set up dolly cams really quickly and everything. It's fucking awesome. The creative things that people would make, and back then people would do like machinima type things and make their own little like montages and shit in their little file share. It's super sick. Like you can set up dolly cams to track in this location, in this direction at this certain time. You get these nice sweeping motions and camera swaps between each other. It'd be great. People can make new intros, new content, just new media in general. It is so much bigger than people realize. But yeah, just more rumors about this shit. I mean, I'm excited. I really am. Especially for like TikTok, for example. People could do all sorts of shit on there. It would just be usable for all of it, honestly. It would be. I just feel like the best games are like very, very flexible games, and games that like allow the community to really bend it up and shape it and shit. One major thing that Call of Duty has been missing for a very long time is its like custom games, like having actual decent fun party modes slash like creative type modes. Like I'll name a few games that launched like absolute shit and had horrible feedback on them. You got Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky. Both of those games right now are very playable and actually very good games. Now, given, I'm not saying that we as consumers should just accept a completely dog shit, you know, release or whatever. Completely unacceptable. Clearly, you've seen me talk shit for I don't know how many years, but they do eventually get better sometimes. All I'm saying is that there are cases. The issue with Call of Duty is that they just keep wiping the slate clean and they just keep forgetting having to pick all of it all back up. And then in the process of picking some of it back up, they drop other features and then they try to pick them back up and then they're damaged and broken and they can't make them as good as they used to be. You know exactly what I'm saying. Oh, this game is gonna... I'm a complete sucker. I'm brainwashed. I'm sorry.